Hello XRP Army, my tribe, everybody out there in YouTube land. I want to talk today about a comment that Tommy XRP made in response to a comment that I made about building generational wealth. So Tommy says he's been thinking about generational wealth, and he asks me what things come to mind. What will I do after crypto takes off? So I think this is really important to talk about, because let's say we all take a nice ride on the XRP rocket ship. We go to the moon. Some of us get into the millions of dollars. Let's just say we do. What do you do with it after that? What do you do? Do you just do like the typical person does and you go out and buy yourself a boat and new clothes, take some vacations, and in a year you're right back where you started from? You can do that if you want. But change the way your brain works about money. So right now, the primary thing I'm thinking of doing after XRP goes to the moon goes up to the moon. What do most people do? They start spending because, yay, they're so happy. And they end up right back where they were, or worse off, because they bought things that have taxes on them, this, that, and the other, and now they have all this tax burden. Or something along those lines. Really bad decision. Bad decision. But we are programmed to do that. It is what we are taught in school, in society. So don't blame yourself, don't kick yourself. Think about it. Think about what you do with the extra income you have right now. Do you use your money as your little slaves, or do you spend it on one little juicing after another? Get that one little high. You know, you order something from Amazon. Ooh, wow, oh, wow. Yeah, a lot of people do that. You are trained to do that. You don't even know you're trained to do it, but you are. So you get up here. What am I going to do with this? I'm not letting it go down to here. I am going to take this, I'm putting it in silver. Scream all you want. That's what I'm doing. If you don't like it, put it down in the comments. Silver. Silver is going to do this. And that'll be another multiplication. What the multiplication will be, I don't know. But as the world's economies fail, gold will go up, and silver's relationship to gold is the same as XRP's relationship is to Bitcoin. In that Bitcoin goes up 1x. XRP will go up 1.5x, 2x, 10x. When gold goes up 1x, silver goes up 4x. That's my plan. All of it? No. I'm going to pull back, hold some. Some will go into safe reserves, whatever that is. And I'll speculate on silver. Then I'm going to take the silver and I'm going to do what most people fail to do. And it's why we all stay poor. I'm going to buy assets. I'm going to buy assets, cash flow in particular. We don't do that. We buy boats. We buy houses. Your house is not an asset, it's a liability. And because people fail to understand that, they treat their house as it's their greatest asset, which it is for most people, but it's also your greatest liability because you got a 30-year loan on it and you end up paying 4 times the amount of the loan, maybe even more. So we are trained as worker bees. That's what our education system does to us. It's what our society tells us. And it's supposed to be that way. No one wants you climbing out of the hive and wandering off on your own and become your own little queen bee. They want you serving the queen. You've got to retrain your brain. Retrain your brain. You've got to break out of that cycle. You have to treat yourself like you are the queen and get your money, however minuscule it might be, working to serve you. Reinvesting that till it serves you more. XRP up, liquidate large portion of XRP, hold some, buy into silver, silver goes up, liquidate most, hold some, buy into assets. We buy feel-good stuff. Stuff that gives us a momentary high, and then we go back to the dreary. The wealthy people buy income, they buy assets. I'll tell you a story from my youth, early 20s. I was working in aviation. A bunch of us went to a steakhouse a couple times. And then I drove by the steakhouse one day, and it was a good steakhouse. And it was closed. I thought, what the heck? They did good business. Why were they closed? And I asked some friends that knew the owner. And they said, he just quit. He retired. He bought a boat, a sailboat, and he's sailing around the world. And I thought to myself, and I said, why didn't he sell it? And everyone said he didn't want to hassle with it. He didn't want the hassle of selling it. It was a profitable business. Those are the kind of businesses you buy. That is what wealthy people do. They buy cash flowing assets. They also buy assets that increase in value over time. Many different things. But they don't think the way you and I do about money. And that guy made a bunch of money. He retired under 50. I believe he was 45, 47 years old. Bought a big sailboat, sailing around the world from one steakhouse. I think he should have sold it. But that's what he did. It's what he wanted. It's what he did. Good on him. Another thing that the wealthy do is they use their assets as collateral to buy more cash flow assets. In particular, look up Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He wrote a book about it. Essentially, how he was raised by his father, who was a university professor, and his friend's father, who was an entrepreneur. And he talks about the difference in mentality. His dad always said, get a job with a university with a retirement and they'll take care of you. And his friend's father taught him the value of his labor and how to increase it. And he said, yes, what I do is a gamble. But in the end, he wound up owning like 50% of downtown Honolulu or something along those lines. Huge amount of property. Because he didn't go out and get a degree, teach at a university, buy a home, buy a car, buy a bunch of debt that has no return on it, that is devaluing as you go through life. He took his money, drove the same old pickup for years and years and opened stores and did this and did that. Read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It'll begin to retrain your brain on how you think about things. The equation to make money is very, very simple. Make your money work for you. Putting your money in a bank account, unless you have hundreds of millions, hundreds of billions of dollars, and putting it in the bank at 0.02% interest, you're not going to do anything. You're going backwards when you take into account for inflation. You take your money from XRP, you use it to leverage low interest loans, and you buy 160 unit apartment buildings. If you're smart and you look at the numbers and you get a, let's say, 4% interest loan, but the units are cash flowing 12, 13%, that is what the wealthy do. They look at this. They say, yes, I can take on this $100 million worth of debt because it's going to return me $100 million plus 12%. in X amount of time. They think differently than you and I do. And that's what the XRP, I plan to do with it, is to use it to springboard into higher things. Use it as an asset to buy more assets, the cash flow. What that will be, real estate, I don't know. I will look into that when I get to that point. Right now, I'm not that worried about that. Real estate has made more millionaires in the United States of America than any other asset class by far. I believe it's 90 to 95% of the millionaires in the United States got to be wealthy through real estate. So that's a really good avenue. I believe in it. The United States is going through an economic collapse. You have to take that into factor. You have to look at where the prices of housings are going to go and whether rent's going to stay as high as it is or whether it's going to drop. If people can't afford to pay exorbitant amounts of rent, then the rent will come down. If that means that the apartment building gets sold at less than value, the banks will take the write-off and it'll have to be sold as a distressed asset. Those things happen. They happen all the time. Retrain your brain. Start learning now. Educate yourself about how money works, how to make it work for you. Start using it as your slaves, and you will come out on top. I'm trying to stress to people to get on the XRP bandwagon and do something, but that's just the beginning. It's not the end. It's step number one in the process. You've got to start thinking differently. That's why I tell people, sell something you're not using and put it into XRP. That's the beginning of training on how to make your assets work for you. If you've got something that's sitting around, returning nothing to you except dust in the corner, get rid of it. Put it on Facebook Marketplace. Put it on Craigslist. Sell it. Make $50, $200, a couple $1,000, whatever it is that it's worth. Extract that liquid asset out and put it into XRP. When XRP goes to the moon, don't wait until it goes to the moon. Start retraining your brain as to what to do with all that liquidity you're going to come into contact with. And don't spend it on buying crap like a boat in our house that'll make you feel great. And then a year from now, you're right back where you started from. Let me know what you think. Tommy XRP. Anybody else? Tell me what you plan to do to create generational wealth. What are your ideas? Let's get together, put our heads together, start thinking about it, start retraining your brain. Get the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He also does programs on YouTube, a lot of motivational things. Look into how the wealthy behave towards their money and start doing things differently. Challenge you to do that. Everyone, challenge you to do that. I challenge you to do that. God bless you all. Take care. I'm out.